Call to the honourable member for Indi.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Housing Minister. I acknowledge the government's commitments of $500 million to the Housing Support Program, $2 billion for the Social Housing Accelerator and $3 billion through the New Homes Bonus. But despite 1 in 3 Australians living outside a major city, not one of these announcements is dedicated to funding housing in regional, rural or remote Australia. Why won't this government guarantee funding for dedicated housing supply in regional Australia?
Give a call to the Minister for Housing, Homelessness and the Minister for Small Business.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Indi for her question. The member for Indi and I have had many conversations about how important it is to make sure that regional Australia does get its fair share of housing, whether they be regional towns, regional centres or regional cities. We do hear very frequently that there are housing shortages, and it's particularly impacting businesses that can't get workers because there's nowhere for them to live, and indeed particularly key workers in essential services. Nurses, doctors, police have nowhere to live in some of these regional towns. So we understand how critical it is. Indeed, we understand how critical it is right across the country, but particularly in those regional towns and the impact that it's having. That's why, of course, we've brought forward our regional first-home buyer guarantee. I'm pleased to update the member that 9,000 people in regional Australia have now bought their own home because we brought forward that program, and we now have over 9,000 Australians that are in their own home because of that. I also want to reassure the member that when it comes to the Housing Accord, the 10,000 affordable homes that the Commonwealth are committed to, that we have taken steps to ensure that each state and territory, and indeed regional and rural Australia, gets its fair share of homes from the Housing Accord.
The Minister will pause. So I can hear from the point of order from the member for Hume.
Mr Speaker, why isn't the Minister delivering housing to the...
I'll hear from the Leader of the House. Yes, Leader of the House. I'll hear.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. I think it's important that a penalty understanding order is taken as a penalty. What we saw just then was an agreement between the member for Hume and the Leader of the Opposition to try to be thrown out so that he doesn't have to give a speech.
Resume your seat. Resume your seat. Yeah. The Leader of the Opposition and the Leader of the House will resume both your seats. Resume your both the seats. Just resume your seat for a moment. Order. The members on my right will cease interjecting, so will members on my left. The member for Hume raised a point of order. I called the Leader of the House on that point of order, and he better get to his point of order.
Under 94A, I suggest the member for Hume, in the interests of the House and the order of the House, should be allowed to stay in the chamber.
Order. Order. The member for Hume, because I'm feeling generous, and it's been a big week, will cease interjecting. And I give the call to the Minister for Housing, Homelessness and Small Business.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I'd say the member in Indi and many other people in this room actually care about regional Australia and housing and actually want to hear this answer, unlike those opposite. Mr Speaker, we're going to make sure, and I reiterate our commitment.
Order. The Minister will come to her conclusion of the answer.
Yes. I reiterate our commitment that under the Housing Australia Future Fund, that the 30,000 houses will be going to regional and rural Australia in their fair share, as well as, of course, around the rest of the country, and each state and territory will get their fair share.